Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we got another video today for the Flysky G11P. This is an update, a 2.2.8 update, and this one is to fix the issue with the ESC and receivers all built into one, where they just wouldn't function basically. We'll have a look through changelog, see if there's anything else changed. But yeah, let's bring in for a close-up look, show you how to back up your model memories, update this thing, and then we'll try it with one of the speed controller ESCs and see if we've got functionality back. So, let's bring in for a close-up look, see how we get on with this one. So, first thing we're going to need is a Windows-based PC. You can do Assistant on the Mac, but you can't do the software updates. You'd have to do it through Assistant, and it's not my preferred way of doing it. And you need your G11P, and we've got the FS R4D ESC just to try afterwards. So I like to create a folder on my desktop, call it Assistant, and then create a folder within this for each transmitter. This one's G11P. I've got an old folder that I keep all the old updates in, whether they work or not. You never know if we're going to need them. Then we're going to have to go to flysky-cn.com. When you open this, you're going to want to click on Products, scroll down, click Surface, scroll down, find your G11P, click on that one. Then we're going to go into Downloads and Upgrades. Once we're in here, we can see we've got the FCC higher power version, but it will batter your battery quicker. We've got the standard EN version, 2.2.8. This will give you standard transmission power but longer battery life. We've got manual, we've got release notes, so if we just click on here. So resolves an issue where configuration data is randomly lost after the transmitter is restarted. Now I've restarted mine quite a lot because I've been playing around seeing what the issue were with these receivers and that. I have not found that at all. And I know some people have contacted me and theirs is resetting randomly. So that's now fixed. Fixed an issue where some 2-in-1 receivers couldn't be controlled after updating. Fixed other known issues. One note on here, it does tell you if you use an older version of Assistant to make your backups, when you upgrade this new version of Assistant, you may not be able to use your backups now. So upgrade Assistant before you back up your transmitter and make sure you calibrate these sticks afterwards. So if we flick back to Flysky's website, further down you've got the Assistant for Windows and Mac and the older version of Assistant for Windows. So you can click on them and download them. Then you need to choose which firmware you want. Functionality wise there's no difference between them, it's just the higher transmission power on the FCC one. So for me, I've not had an issue with range, so I'll just use the standard one to give me better battery life. It'll ask you where to save it, so clicking as Assistant folder, then as G11P, and then we can save it in there. Doesn't take long to download at all. So we can close this. Next, we're going to open Assistant because we want to make a backup of this transmitter. So now you want to get your transmitter. We've got our USB-C cable that came with the transmitter. You want to plug that in. So once we've got a transmitter plugged in, you'll see it'll connect. Click into it. We can see as older version 2.2.4. We can go to export, load up as model memories. I'm just going to select them all. You've got next, where you can select all the rest of them. I'm going to click export. Now I'm going to browse back to my desktop, my Assistant folder, my G11P folder, and I'm going to click save. And as a rule, it doesn't usually take too long to back these up. It's well worth doing. If you ever make any changes or anything to your setups, it's well worth having an update from Assistant for how many seconds this takes just to back up everything you've got, and then if you completely write off your transmitter, if there's a software bug as in the 2.2.4 and it resets your transmitter, you can just restore it. It's basically just fail-safing yourself. I know for me, because I do so much work on them, it doesn't take me 2 seconds to set up an RC, but I'd still have to go in and calibrate the endpoints and everything on all the servos, especially if it's a crawler. So yeah, I like to have a backup, make sure everything's backed up and safe, and then if I ever try a different transmitter or I have to replace it, I've just got all my models backed up. It really does save a lot of time and effort. Plus, if you've got friends and family that buy the same transmitter, if they've got a very similar RC, although you'd have to calibrate the endpoints, set all them, you can set all the really complex sort of four-wheel steering, things like that. You can just send them the actual backup, model backup, and they can restore it to theirs. So once we got this backed up, you can click firmware update and click update through here. I'd strongly advise against it, and it's only showing the 2.2.4 update so far. There's a high chance if something happens it'll sort of soft brick your transmitter and you'll have to recover it. So for me, I'm now going to close this. I'm going to go to our G11P. So once we're on the G11P, we're going to go into his menu. We're going to go down to System. We're going to go to Firmware Update. Click Yes. You'll hear the Windows USB sound. We've now got his transmitter in update mode. So we can now go back to our PC. We're going to browse to his folder on his desktop, then his G11P. We're going to open the firmware updater. Make sure you do not have Assistant open at the same time. It does say on the top here 2.2.8, and his version that is detected is 2.2.4. It does say it's ready for update. If you forget to put your transmitter in update mode, this will fail. So if we just click update, generally speaking, it's really fast on the G11P using this firmware updater. I have tried using Assistant to update transmitters and it's been successful, but you're looking between 15 and 20 minutes for it to complete an update. That's a hell of a long time for somebody to accidentally unplug the transmitter, a power cut or anything like that. For me, I just think the way that this standalone firmware updater works is just so much quicker, more convenient. And yeah, the more time it takes to do the update is less time that you've got to play with your RC. So quicker is always better. As you can see on this one, we're already at 32%. It's definitely an interesting one. I do have the FS R4D. I also have the Hobbywing version, which I think is the HW711. So we can try buying into that and make sure that one's also working. I've got that one in the Tamiya Mark II Escort. I don't like to cut these bits out. We're now at 50%. I don't like to cut them out in case it pauses and then people that are trying to follow, not sure whether they should pause, not sure how long it should take. This is a Lenovo Legion Go, and for an handheld they're quite powerful, but as PCs go, it's nothing crazy high spec. So you should get roughly the same sort of experience time-wise programming these transmitters and updating from any other PC. It's currently just coming up to 70%. It does say it's programming Flash, so we shouldn't be far off done now. But as I say, I don't like to cut these bits in case somebody's following along, and if it does pause for so many seconds, at least they know mine did it as well. We're just coming up to 90% now, and I think it jumps a little bit towards the end. Yeah, so it gets to about 91, 92% and then verify its flash, and then we're done. So we can now close the updater. We've got as models backed up. So now we need to get as models back on our transmitter. So we're going to close this. We're going to go back to Assistant. If you leave it a few seconds, it will detect the transmitter. You can click into it. You can see we're seeing 2.2.8. So we want to go to Import, Load File. I like to go back to my desktop, Assistant folder, G11P. Click on the actual file we made earlier. You can see all the models it's going to import. Then we can just tick all, click add. If you want to, you can swap the order that these are in now. So if we wanted to get that one somewhere else, we can move it down. And then as little Mark II Escort is at the top, or you can reset everything and start again and just bring them in. And basically what it's showing you is what is actually on it and what's going to be overwritten. Doesn't look like this firmware overwrites anything. Anyway, once we've got them copied across, you just click OK. And then this will write everything back. While we're doing that, we can get a battery ready. And we've got our little ESC and motor and receiver. So we're currently at 42%. Shouldn't take much longer. And hopefully we can have working speed controllers again. I do like Assistant. I just wish it was a little bit quicker doing the firmware updates. And it's literally like 2 or 3 minutes from using the updater and 15 to 20 minutes if you do it through Assistant. It's a huge difference. But it doesn't seem too bad at doing the model backups and restores. So we've got that done. Let's get our little speed controller and receivers so we can try it and see how they work. So we've got our transmitter updated. The first thing that I would do, as always, once we've got our models back on, is stick calibration. And this is just to make sure that everything's configured as it should be. So yeah, calibration successful. Next, let's go on to one of his models. What we got? So I'm going to go into this, select model 5. I'm going to reset the model completely. So if we go into bind set, type is definitely ESC. So let's power up our speed controller now and receiver. Let's go into bind mode. So we're getting binding successful. So just to sanity check this, let's get a servo connected. So we've definitely got a working servo. Do we have a working motor? So we've got forward, brake and reverse. So that's definitely working, fully controllable. So let's see if we can change that to forward and reverse. Yep. And we got brake force 0, so let's see if we can change that. Yep. Definitely working there. Let's change it back. Yep, forward brake and reverse. So I can confirm the FS R4D is now functioning as it should. So let's quickly power this off and we'll grab the Mark II Escort. Because this, as the other ESC that Hobbywing make, that we had a problem with. So basically we was having a similar or worse problem really with this one in its functionality. So on the transmitter I'm going to come down to models, model select, let's get us Mark II Escort back. Let's go to his RX set.
Binding successful.
So we have got binding successful. So it should be set on forward and reverse to start with. Let's see. Yep. Forward brake and reverse. Yep, that's now working. And drag brake. Yep. So we can now confirm that both the FS R4D and the HW711 now work perfectly on the G11P again. We've got full functionality back. We can program the ESCs and everything. So yeah, don't forget to run the calibration on your transmitter after you've updated it and restored your model memories. Technically, this update doesn't overwrite the model memories, but because there was issues with the older firmware, I would rewrite your model memories to it for the few seconds it takes. So that's the G11P fully updated to 2.2.8 firmware, and yeah, seems to be successful, seems to be working. If you guys find any issues with it, don't forget to get in touch with me either on YouTube or join the Wtf Rc Cars Facebook group, and yeah, let's wrap this one up. So there we have it, a fix for the two ESCs and possibly the smaller one as well. But yeah, the ESCs that were out problems now fixed. We shouldn't get the models resets. I know a few guys have contacted me saying they've been getting random model resets on it. That should all be fixed now. And yeah, don't forget to run calibration. You may have to bind your models back up, depends if you've rewrit your models to it. But it only takes seconds on this transmitter anyway. But yeah, thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.